Hi guys, my name is Kuro. I'm the host of the PlayStation Point. Today with me is Tyler, and no Armando. We'll find him eventually. He really isn't doing a whole lot for the podcast anymore.
I hear he's traveling around the world in 80 days. He only had like an hour to stop by and say hello here. It's a shame, really.
Yeah, he'll be back later. But we can always use this time to bitch about him if we want.
I think I have a free copy of Strider. Someone can guess where the hell Arms is.
Okay, well, we'll start off with some news. If you guys know about Mages in PV, they also have another game related to Steins called Chaos Head, and that will be releasing on PS4 and PS Vita in Japan, though, next year on March 30th. And it'll be Chaos Child, or no, it's Chaos Child. And it's Love Choo Choo, so I believe when I read this, it was like an extra disc you could play, but I was like, why isn't it DLC then?
This summer, Chaos Child.
And then similarly, another game called Chaos Code, but no semicolon. New Sign of Catastrophe is releasing in Japan on November 9th for PS4.
I can't wait for the third title, Chaos Control.
I think the other title involved with Steins Gate is Robotics Notes.
Robotics Notes. Oh boy.
Yeah. The other game that the anime is playing now was Occultic 9, or I think that was a light novel, but Occultic 9 is really weird. The anime doesn't. Now it's starting to make sense, but it took 5 episodes to do that, and I was like, I don't think I'll. I don't know if I don't want to watch this anime anymore.
Yeah, I don't blame you. There are some anime where I've watched it for a few episodes. It's just I can understand why people really like this, but it's no. That's what happened with Food Wars for me. I was just I could understand the humor behind this. There's a deeply rooted history behind the kind of humor behind this that just does not reach me.
I think at the moment the author doesn't understand why people don't like the current arc, or the current, why they don't like the current battle or whatever. I was like, oh, that's a problem.
Yeah. I understand that problem too, because that's actually some related news for PlayStation games. Not related to anime in particular, but just, people not liking specific things. So, we'll get to that. I got some news for you too, trust me.
Okay. So, Sony is publishing Neo outside of Japan, which is interesting because it's for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 4 Pro, which I don't think is released yet.
It's releasing pretty soon. I think it's either this month or early next year.
Well, the game company that's who published the game in Japan is Koei Tecmo.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it looks like a really Japanese game.
Yeah, from what I've gathered from Slow Beef, a YouTuber, you might know him from Let's Play, but he's been streaming some Neo, and it's basically MMO anime Dark Souls.
What?
Straight up to the point Dark Souls.
Weird.
Yeah, because he got to play the beta at some point, so he has VODs up on YouTube of him playing Neo. And there are a lot of accurate similarities between Dark Souls and Neo. The only difference I've seen is the stances that you can switch between, but that's about it. But it seems it doesn't seem like a bad game. If Sony's picking it up for publishing, that means that they see some promise in it as well.
Well, there's always some risks when you take it to another country to publish. Online publishing has made things a lot cheaper, but you still have to take a lot of time and effort. You still have to market this shit.
Right.
You still have to make sure PR does its job. And then you have to make deals. It's
that nobody wants to invest in a new IP as much, because we're at a time where if you've created an IP already, then odds are you're going to probably make a little more money making a new title for that IP than creating a brand new IP from scratch, because people are way too comfortable with what they've got already, and we got plenty.
Yeah. But then, like, how do you tell that to, like, people who are part of, like, the indie circuit, where it's like they really need to make new stuff? But then it's like, what do you make that is new, that is interesting or different? And I think that's the harder question.
You have varying degrees of success with that kind of thing, though, because a lot of people, when they look towards the independent market, they look for things that they are comfortable with already, which is why Shovel Knight was such a smash success. But the same thing applies to companies like WayForward, which started off as a third party, then became independent. And they're most familiarized with Shantae, but indie companies like that with some sort of track record like that, they do get to develop and publish for companies, which is why they were tasked with DuckTales Remastered when that was eventually announced.
So, but then we get to something like Kraken, I believe isn't that his YouTube name?
It's Kraken, yeah.
Kraken. Okay, so then we get to his thing where he's obviously supposedly made this awesome game, but then he's getting countersued by the person who apparently was not credited for his work.
Huh.
So Kotaku reported this, and pretty much like the person explained that like if he wouldn't have sued, like apparently if he had just like credited him, because apparently this dude like made a huge, like he made use of the assets like the most part. He did like a majority of the programming. He did a lot of work to get this started, and then
Right.
apparently Kraken like went to the USC game department and like for law and everything, and like made the company before it didn't tell him. And apparently these people were roommates, and I don't think roommates are good business partners at this point, after I saw something else sort of melt down with another product. So
yeah, that's kind of the scary thing about college projects in particular, even.
well, I don't know about the USC Games program because I'm not a part of it, but I would feel like, we all would be like, we should really credit people anyway, even if they leave. Crediting people, like, it's not hard to credit someone. Just, write their name in the credits.
Yeah,
Put
it
a
is kind
link.
of it is kind of particular, and even then, I think it's something that can be easily remedied. I don't think it requires suing.
Well, the thing is like, this is something that like ICU is something that will take off clearly.
Yeah.
And
I feel like
this would be using towards his resume, and if you're not going to credit someone, you're essentially saying fuck you, you didn't do any work. But if the dude really did do all this work, then why shouldn't he be credited?
I think there are two sides to this. That I think one side we're quite not getting is,
well, no, because
it seems like right up until it reached its goal, which was pretty quick, I should add, for like a first up Kickstarter title. There's something about the in between here. Like, he doesn't get credited, but I don't think he would have minded if ICU wasn't as big of a success as it became through Kickstarter. But because it actually did get funded within a day, there has to be some sort of like,
but
oh
regardless,
shit,
I
I need to get my foot in the door now, and it needs to be drastic.
Look, if regardless of how successful the game would be on Kickstarter, should he have been credited? Yes, he should have been. The fact that he didn't do that and made the company without him and went to draw legal paperwork to make a company is a pretty big deal, and it's pretty fucking douchey.
Well, I think the one thing in particular here is that, yes, you do need to credit, but if the person not credited doesn't want to be involved anymore with the project, then a credit is really all that needs to be brought up. if he doesn't want to be involved with the project or even involved in the company, then that's a matter that can't be adjusted for after the fact. You can credit someone for their work in your project as a company, but you can't pay them liabilities if they aren't actually employed.
The problem is that, like, they made the company after the Kickstarter happened. So, like, USC has not commented.
It seems like yeah, there is a lot of stuff we just don't know quite yet.
USC will not comment on this. I'm telling you this right now. They will not do that for purposes of reputation.
Yeah.
In Kraken's best interest, he should not comment. He should talk with lawyers and talk with his ex-roommates' lawyers and figure this shit out civilly.
Yeah, it's something that can't be. It's a shock of journalism that Kotaku even reported on this, because it seems like a matter that could have been rectified without anybody knowing.
I mean, no, to me, it's like I would actually want to know about this as a consumer, because this reflects a company, like someone who represents this company in this game.
That's
Do
true.
I really want to pay my money for someone who can't even do something as simple as credit someone for their work before even a company was started? Like,
this also seems like a before and after as well, because I don't know if this roommate in particular has also worked on other projects with Kraken, because Kraken and a group of people that he's worked with at this college, they've made I think 3 other games together, and I don't know if this roommate was also involved with all of those all the way through, but that could have been a matter of confusion, because if he was involved in all 3 of those projects, then yeah, you got to credit him because he was with all through the project. But as a first time startup, he just might not have known to credit someone even if they are no longer on the project.
I feel like that's not really a good excuse, because like the USC Games Department and the USC Computer Science Department is very tight-knit. Like, compared to some of the other parts of the school, it seems big, but if you go compared to like UCLA or UC Berkeley, it's actually a small department. But we're a very diverse department. You have to get along with people. So it's not really, I don't think it's uncommon for people to work on, projects together, but like, just, you can't say he doesn't know that. He's a YouTuber. He has to know something about crediting for what's due. And the fact that he didn't is very strange. He just should have done it. It's not that big of a deal. Just credit someone. He could have avoided the legal lawsuit.
The fact of the matter is that he can do that now. Like, he understands that he needs to do it now, but as someone who does not go to USC and does not understand the guidelines, rules, or the essence of the community there, I'm trying to see this from a viewer's perspective, which is as a game developer, honestly, because I've developed games before with a team, and it's basically high school life all over again, where you make a project with a group of people. They aren't there when you go to show the project off to people.
No, but just because they're not there with you to show the product off doesn't mean they didn't do anything. If they actually coded, used assets.
Yes, but that is true.
This is, giving credit is not something that is just applies towards games or media. This is something you learn when you write papers in high school.
Yeah.
So you avoid plagiarism. And This is also true in college. You learn this because you have to take a class where you have to write, a paper, like a research paper that's 8 to 10 pages. USC has a class called Writ 150, and then there's Writ 340. I'm pretty sure Kraken has taken at least Writ 150. Even then, there are classes where he would have had to have taken a like a class to write a paper, and when you do research, you have to credit people. Otherwise, you are plagiarizing these people.
Right. But the thing is that plagiarism in a paper and plagiarism in game development are two slightly different things because
they're slightly different, but at the end of the day, you still have to credit someone.
Yeah, you still have to credit them. That's the big thing. The one fact of the matter is that we just don't know enough to like pass judgment
on
the entire matter. All we know is that he should have been credited, and now there's a lawsuit happening for some fucking reason, and I feel like there's a little more behind it than just not crediting someone.
Well, like, here's the thing: is that like going like to me, it's like you got into USC, a very prestigious, a very great school for computer science, and the games department is great. So it's like there are expectations of you. Like don't be that asshole. And for him to do that is kind of like, you should know better than that. You're also a legal adult. Don't even start. Like,
I mean, to be fair, he also signed with Polaris, who is like the biggest fucking asshole-ish network ever to exist at this point.
But at the end of the day, he's the one who agreed to it, though.
Yeah, he's got to. That's the thing. We could discuss and argue about this all we want, but it's going to happen regardless on what we say. It just depends on what happens with the lawsuit after the fact of credit. That's the only thing we don't know is what happens with the lawsuit.
Unless, like, the legal documents or someone reports about it. But they probably won't.
Kotaku's going to report on it because they absolutely love to focus on YouTubers. I've noticed. It's like the big thing I noticed from Kotaku is it's either about video game controversies or YouTubers, which is like their biggest hits on that website.
But I mean, like, that stuff is interesting, though. That gets people talking. But we also need to talk about it because we need to change the game industry as a whole, the tech industry as a whole, because there's a lot of sexism, there's a lot of non-crediting. The voice actors strike that happened earlier, I don't know if it's still going on, but it's more like people want... Happening. Okay, it's still happening. But basically, like, these people just want better pay, better benefits. Right. On a daily basis. I don't think that's wrong. And some developers are like, but we're not treated that well. And I was like, well, if you don't think you're that treated well, you need to talk to your bosses and you need to start making complaints, because my issue with game development is that, to be perfectly honest, developers aren't treated well. You get really shitty hours and you're laid off every time, like every game, every project, you are laid off and then you were rehired back, so you don't get benefits. Nintendo is one of the few companies that says, no, we're not going to do that. We actually want you to stay full-time so we can actually motivate you more. We're going to give you health benefits. We're going to give you other benefits, like actual comparable benefits that you would want to keep. And does the game industry need to change? It really does, because we are making entertainment. And I don't think it's great that the conditions people work in, the lack of pay, the lack of crediting, the sexism.
I remember reading a story back when Metro 2033, can't remember what, Metro Last Light, that's what it was. Metro Last Light is a cult. It has like a cult following nowadays, because it's actually like a really good survival shooter. But I remember reading that for 3 months, like the last 3 months of Metro Last Light's development, the developers went without like water or heating. Like all they had was electricity to develop the game, which is kind of stunning.
Fuck.
Yeah, and the thing is that Metro Last Light's actually a really cool game. So go check it out if you haven't played it yet. But yeah, it's kind of astonishing just how it's an astonishing factor of what companies will make developers go through, but it's also impressive about what developers will go through for their product. Like, it's a double-edged sword, I think.
In a sense, but like, at what point is like, do we have a line where that's not acceptable, this is acceptable? And I think to a point, everyone has the right to have comparable pay, comparable benefits, an actual safe working environment, like a living work environment. Like, the fact that they weren't without water or heat is fucked up. they should have water and heat, at the very least.
Right.
Like, they don't have to have fancy shit, but they need like a building that actually is working.
Yeah, that's the thing we're gonna both agree on. This is just like padding towards the discussion we're having already. It's like no matter what, we're gonna agree on the fact that you should have running water and you should have an operating heat system in your fucking office when you have like a team of 6 people working on your game. But I don't even know how many people fucking worked on Metro Last Light. I think it was 6 people, which is all the more impressive. But like, it's something where we can only really discuss this because these are matters that are important to us, but we're not going to be able to get very far when we both agree on the same matters. Like, when we were talking about the whole lawsuit thing, I was trying to come up with counterpoints and everything, but you'd come back with something I'd agree with, and I was just like, okay, well, now I need another counterpoint. So in the end of all this discussion, I'm going to seem like I'm defending Kraken or something, when in actuality I'm trying to fucking come up with as many pathways to discuss as possible, but we both agree on the same things. That's
not necessarily a bad thing, though.
Yeah, it isn't a bad thing, but it's really terrible for discussion when it seems like a one-sided argument after the fact. But that's all we can really do when both people agree on the matter. It's difficult.
Well, shall we move on to a very exciting part of the news?
Yeah.
Sombra's in Overwatch!
Yes, Sombra was put into the PTR yesterday for Overwatch.
Fucking awesome. I want to buy Overwatch, but I also need to be responsible and like turn in my shit at the end of the month and take my finals.
And get your boyfriend to give you a Christmas gift.
Well, he doesn't want me giving a game because I don't really have time to play games. Like, my schedule's kind of fucked up right now.
Right.
This semester, and I don't know how next semester is going. It's kind of up in the air for the most part. So he's like, I want to buy you useful things for Christmas. And I was like, okay, buy me a car then. He's like, I wish that I had that kind of money.
Yeah, no kidding. I wish I could buy you useful things for Christmas. Can you buy me a new computer? I'm gonna have to. I have to give my parents my Newegg wish list for like all new parts for my computer, so I can just start anew. That's all I need.
I need to make my Christmas gift list for my aunt. I'm not really sure what I want.
Ask your aunt for Overwatch.
I could. Like, they usually like ask for, I put a list of like 5 things and then I hope I get any of them.
Right.
Sort of thing. Like, it depends. Yeah. Like, she will probably give me some, like, if I ask for cheaper things, she'll probably like buy it more, but I think she would rather buy me stuff that is also more useful, like if I wanted a new pillow or some more kitchen stuff.
A Dakimakura.
But yeah, I kind of just want to buy it after finals and not wait till Christmas.
You completely shrugged off that joke. Wow. I say Dakimakura, you're just like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, Sombra being in Overwatch is pretty exciting, considering that it was like a fucking 5-month ARG we were dealing with here. I love Sombra's design. I love Cyberpunk. It's like my favorite. It's like one of my favorite character design approaches. It's Cyberpunk.
I like some of her design. I don't like the overall design, but there's like parts of it. Like, I love the gloves. I like the fact that they glow. I like that the tips. I like the way her hair is done, like on the side, and then
side mohawk parted.
Sort of, but like her she has more like dreads.
Yeah, it's more like braided. It's more like braided on the side, and then yeah.
Whereas, like, I personally I like the shape look better, but like I like her personality, and I like how like her calculating nature. I just like, if I was going to design her character as like this brilliant hacker but badass, I would use like a different design aspect.
Well, you have to think that because it's Blizzard and they want to make I need to note this first. Blizzard isn't really known for their kind of pseudo modern design approach for stuff like this, so they usually go for an extreme approach with their designs, which is why Mei is an interesting character, because she wears like clothing that doubles her size basically because she's actually a normal. She has like normal proportions in her casual clothing, but she wears like a giant coat.
No, I'd say she's thick in her regular clothing. She's a
I,
thick girl.
it's not. Well, I mean, in comparison to what she wears in her
Like yeah,
like
like her outfit is like really bulky,
her
but even
her outfit more or less like doubles her actual size. I think
I
this
think
is
that's
really weird to
fine.
talk about, but
No, like that, like to me that makes sense.
yeah, it
Why
does
it
make sense.
doubles?
But it's
But I
like
feel like even if you take it off, she's still like a really thick girl, and I like that.
yeah, but that's the thing about extremes because you have that, and they have characters like Tracer or Widowmaker that are
Yeah,
uh,
they're much more
very
like
thin framed.
they're thin framed, but like we have a variety of bodies.
Yeah,
I love. I can't remember her name right now, but the pink haired Russian badass.
that's Zarya. That's
I am
Zarya.
sorry.
Yeah,
And
but
like
yeah, that's
someone
a
was
matter of
complaining
extremes as
about
well.
like there wasn't enough body types, and then Zarya comes out. I was like,
Yeah,
yeah, you can shut the fuck up.
yeah, but that's the thing about Overwatch is that there's just a ton of extremes in terms of the game's design. Like you have Sombra, which is like very cyberpunkish kind of everything, and has the roguish punk look to it. And then you have characters like Tracer or Ana, for that matter, that all look very plain, but with a very specific effect to them. Like uh, Tracer has her outfit, which is very unique. But you have Ana, which is just like someone in a cloak that uses a tranquilizing dart sniper rifle. It's like that kind of thing where there's plenty of extremes in terms of Overwatch's design that make it appealing. And I think Sombra's one of the extremes. Like it's kind of like comparing, let's go Winston to Reinhardt. You know, Winston, all he has is a thruster pack and a Tesla cannon. I'm going to call it Tesla cannon because I don't know the actual name. But then you have characters like Reinhardt, which wear like 5 tons of medieval armor. It's like, what the okay. So I think the extreme works for Sombra though because she's supposed to be that enigmatic kind of character.
I guess like because I mean that's fine, but like as someone who writes, I sort of need the clothes to be somewhat modern or contemporary. I need
Yeah,
them to be contemporary is really the word. Because I need to be able to see them and I need to be able to describe them. So what I do is I actually take what's in my closet and then I put my characters in that. And if I don't really like a character or I think they're supposed to be a villain, I just put them in clothes of things I hate or like I think I hate that my sister wears.
but the thing also is that every character in the game has an alignment that you can kind of determine based on how they look. Sombra is supposed to be a chaotic neutral, where she works for her own gain, whether regardless of who she has to step over to gain it. And that's the thing, at least in comparison of the two chaotic evils, which are Reaper and Widowmaker, or the chaotic or like the lawful goods like Reinhardt or Soldier 76, which are very distinctive in terms of their design. Um, that kind of thing makes a lot of importance when you're talking about character design, is knowing what a character is supposed to be by their overall design, and not having to go back to their lore or their backstory in order to find out who they actually are. Because at least in the terms of Reaper, Widowmaker, and Sombra, we don't know a whole lot about their past. We only know about who they are now, and that's what makes them very important to Overwatch lore.
I haven't into Overwatch lore. I like the characters.
Yeah, the characters are awesome. I love May's my favorite character, by the way, just so everyone knows.
I don't think that was very hard to figure out.
Yeah, I love
And then
May.
apparently Genji got an Oni skin, which I think is very fitting because
He's getting an Oni skin, but you have to play the free to play MOBA for like 15 games with a friend in order to get it.
yeah, some people are willing to do that.
Yeah, I'm willing to do it. Here's the Storm is awesome. Um, but yeah, I just that's the cool thing about Sombra is that um, they really put her into the hacker archetype too. Have you heard about what her highlight intro is like for
I
before they play the game?
I think I actually saw that where she was like infiltrating this Russian facility with
No,
Reaper.
not the animation. The every time you get a play of the game at the end of a match, it like does a little intro animation.
No, I don't think I've seen it.
It's really cool.
Doesn't she like
It
make references to like a hacker movie?
she does sometimes, but the thing about the highlight intro for um Sombra is that it'll play another person in your team's play of the game, and then Sombra hacks it to be her play of the game.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
It's brilliant. I can give you a GIF. Hold on. I think somebody posted on the Overwatch Reddit. Let me get it for you.
Been on Reddit recently, and it's interesting.
Yeah,
I still kind of miss Tumblr. Kinda.
Yeah, Tumblr had some pretty fantastic GIFs.
But some of the community is shit.
Yeah. Here's a GIF for you. There you go. Enjoy that. I think it's brilliant how they did it. It plays like half of the intro before it just switches right over. So it's actually technically probably one of the longest highlight intros in the game now.
Yeah, I saw like on Twitter for like all of her skins, and I thought that was great.
Oh yeah, I have a couple friends that are dying to get some of the skins for.
One of her skins was actually my computer palette, so it's like black, red, and white, and I was like, that's great.
Yeah.
I would just make her clothes a bit different.
Yeah. Again, it's a matter of extremes. They had to like make her look cyber.
Like, I mean, that's fine. It's just like how I think of character design is different than how I guess Blizzard wanted the character designs. I actually really want to see her like her rough designs. Actually,
I have a feeling that's not going to be hard to find soon. Anyways, I think you would do pretty well being a character designer at Lab Zero. Actually,
really.
Lab Zero is the team behind Skullgirls, and
I know that. It's just like,
again, you go for a very contemporary style, and at least in terms of Indivisible, I think that's the name. I can't remember anymore. I think it is, but they do go for a very legend style approach to things, where they make characters look and fit their archetype, but give them very distinctive details about them.
Well, because like I've written a short about clothes and clothes in those locations like major cities, and then I recently did a poem called the Runway of the World, and it's because like we've been talking about gender binary in my gender studies class. So the poem starts out like one stanza's here, one stanza's like here, so they're at edge, things slowly come together, but sort of like I have to describe like what the gender binary looks like to me, and I've already added in like how coming together, like blending makeup with facial hair, but then like I need to add some more detail.
Right.
Like my professor was like, you're a logical thinker and you have some great ideas, but you need to turn off your brain for a bit so you can make that language marry the thoughts. Yeah. And I was like, okay, I understand.
That's the amazing thing about learning about writing in school is I didn't have that chance to get a teacher that really cared about writing as much as I did, which is why I have such a passion for writing now, I'd say.
Well, but this is a workshop, so I have to sort of go talk to the professor. But like that's the point. I think people don't really realize is like, yeah, sometimes you don't necessarily need to go learn with a teacher, but it's really helpful if you do.
Yeah, it's I have such a passion for writing now because I didn't get a chance to really understand what writing could feel like in school. And that's why writing reviews to me is so special, is because I can go into detail about I can go into specific detail. I can tell a story in my review about adventures that I've had in these games. That's what made the No Man's Sky review so special to me, is because I wrote it out like a sci-fi narrative, and that's what I find so particular about reviews that I want to do now. That's how I wrote that's how I'm writing the Hitman review. Actually, I'm currently in progress writing the the Hitman first season review. And I go into this vivid detail about one of the missions, Sapienza Italy, where I say specifically like about the winding streets of Sapienza going down towards the beach, and talk about how I kill these targets with very specific and ridiculous means, like poisoning spaghetti with an expired can of sauce or an exploding golf ball. Things like that tell a story. Like, if you give people a faint glimpse into the world you experienced, they envision it, and that's the most beautiful thing about writing.
Yeah, the thing is like some people are very good at language and prose, and that's great. But like, I'm finding problems with some people where it's like that's all they do, and it doesn't really move along the narrative.
Mm-hmm.
This is true even like in poetry. It's like it's just pretty to be pretty.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like, hey, like why else are you writing it then?
A lot of poetry I've seen people try to write is like it has a very clear beginning and end to it, and they just want to add descriptives and they want to add elegance to their poem, so they add description. But the problem is with poetry, you need to add elegance to everything. You can't just have a beginning and end and decide to put elegance in between.
Well, I mean, like elegance there's different ways of putting it, and really poems are a lot of times images. Sometimes like it's better to end on an image than anything else.
Yeah.
But you have to describe them in such a way that like works with the flow, or if you have a rhyme, works with the rhyme. It like there's a lot of free form that people do, but trying to like do certain things, like a sonnet now is different from like a sonnet with Shakespeare.
Right.
And I had a poem about coffee, and like I turned something else in. We actually looked at the rough draft. She was like, "No, this is what the poem's about. So finish this and then revise it." And she's like, "You should make this a sonnet about coffee." And I was like, "Okay."
Yeah, that's.
Right, and if I could just end it on "Long live Starbucks Queen," I would be very happy.
Yeah, that's the that's the thing about poetry is it's not about making an image. It's not about making a story. It's about making a story about an image.
And that sometimes that's not as easy. Sometimes like you get stuck on the form and you hit a brick wall and you fail. But sometimes like you can change something into a form. What you really want to do is you want to get like the idea down, the description, and then you can move things around. You can play with structure, you can play with form.
And it's perfectly okay to fail too.
Yeah, there's not really rules to poetry for the most part, like fiction is, but even then, fiction is like you still need to have fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
To write about your to write about things that are based on your life, I think are the hardest, especially if you haven't necessarily dealt with those issues yourself very well. So, at times, if like yes, a lot of people should write off based realism at first. And fantasy may have to wait for some of us,
Mm-hmm.
but I will. There's some people who like I hate this. It's like people make assumptions that the I is you, and the I as the speaker is not me.
Yeah.
You know, if you really want to get to personally know me, come after class and talk to me like I'm a person. Don't start assuming shit.
The I is the perspective of the person in the
of the speaker.
Not
the author.
Yeah.
If the author comes out and says, you know, I've seen some things and I based off this experience, and if you want to, you know, ask questions about that, I think that's fine. But we cannot assume anything if the author just says, like, if the author doesn't say anything. Like, you don't know that.
Yeah. It's only a fair assumption that you think it's the speaker and not the author. Because that's probably one of the worst assumptions you can make as a reader, especially in a book.
Like, what's even worse is if you've only workshopped one thing with someone, they assume that, like, everything is based off your life, and it's like, you have read one piece of my work. You do not get to assume that. You may get to assume that after reading 6 pieces from me, but not after one. You know, don't say what my style is before you've seen all my other work.
The one peeve of mine is actually when I used to write, people assumed that there was a deeper meaning behind what I wrote, and I'm just like, no, it's about a fucking dog at the park. What the hell are you? Like, it's not about the allegory of politics. It's just a dog in a fucking park, all right? High school sucks.
High school is shit.
Yeah. All right. We
but
got
there's
sidetracked.
we did, but like it's kind of a segue into this next game called Oceanhorn, and it's kind of like Zelda, The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker,
Mhm.
and that will be going to PlayStation 4 and Vita, and physical copies will be available to buy.
Mhm.
And so, like from the screenshots, it looks like it's a pretty nice game actually, and it'll be more about exploring, so that's cool.
Yeah.
And apparently, there's like a zero.7 beta, so this looks
That's
interesting.
that's unique. I would I was gonna say it would be interesting to see if the game could be released in physical as a beta, and then I remembered that that's Tony Hawk's first Gator 5. So my my comment is moot.
Well, like it's not that the betas in physical copies. It's just when it goes to retail, like when they actually like sell
Finish
the
it.
game, it'll be in physical copies. It won't just be digital,
Right.
which is nice.
Yeah. Uh, it's it seems okay.
And
That's
then
all I can really say on it.
well, there's another RPG that is coming out from Gust, which is one of the games mentioned in Neptunia. It's a Japanese game company. Magical Girl RPG Blue Reflection, sorry, releases in Japan on March 30th, 2017.
Brew Reflections. Oh my god, Brew Reflections.
I'm really tired.
Coffee.
Coffee is done.
Nectar of the gods.
This is how to get for staying up till 3 in the morning and then falling asleep.
Oh, you did that too?
Yeah, I have like a month to finish 2 portfolios, which with all like the revisions, and I still have to workshop one more time, and I only have like a week to like revise that story.
I do not envy your life.
No, and then I have to have a skit presentation in Japanese.
Mhm.
I have to what is it? I have to do a research paper. Actually, go down do the fucking social research as well, and that's due at the end of the month. I have a final project due like the 28th, and so I don't have to do my final because
Mhm.
it'll be like on the 12th of December, and the press is like, if you want to be here.
Mhm.
So I was like, okay. And there's all this homework, and like I still have a test coming up, and I was like, no, and there's just so much shit I have to do for being someone who's taken 18 units.
I do not envy your life at all.
No, you shouldn't.
I enjoy my video games. I couldn't possibly take college because my life revolves around video games. I'm a loser.
My life revolves around video games, but I'm gonna have to temporarily put on hold.
Yep.
Fortunately, like
Podcasts.
I cannot touch Animal Crossing.
Yep.
Even
Don't
though
worry.
the
I'm
update
playing
is.
plenty of the update for you.
I kind of want to sell my town.
Yeah, I want to do that too, but first I have to experience like a few of the things I missed.
I forgot to email the one dude about the capture card. I need to do that.
You should probably do that.
So, cause like it would be really nice if like we would all just start our towns again and we just do like Animal Crossings like mini series or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be that would be a good time. Yeah. The
And
yeah, that's all I can really say. It's like what else can you really say? It's like it's Animal Crossing, and we want to do shit in Animal Crossing. It's like it. It's it. Fucking it. Story over.
do you know the estimate I got for my town was like 27 million bells?
I can find out what I can get for my town. Hold on. Digital titles. I gotta actually open up fucking new leaf. Hold on.
Yeah, you have to say like you want to like change the town or
Reset your
recreate.
town.
No, you want to say you have to recreate your town.
Yeah.
Like, because apparently people accidentally deleted their towns.
Whoops.
Yeah. Well, because like the thing about selling your town is you can keep your catalog, or you can sell it for extra. I'd actually rather keep the catalog.
Yeah, keeping the catalog seems like a good idea.
Because, like, you can't, when you
'Cause
use the Street Pass feature, you cannot order customized furniture.
it's worth noting that it took me like 3 years to even unlock Cyrus, so.
Wait, what? Really?
Yeah, I'm not very good at the furniture collecting thing.
Jesus. And,
I've
like,
had New Leaf since like a year after it came out, and I only
oh,
just
I got it, like, the release day. Like,
recreate the town. Yeah, Isabel, I know you're sad. Yeah, go figure. That it's really weird how self-aware they are. It's just like you're about to lose everything, and everybody's gonna go into the void forever.
oh well. I just want to get the takoyaki neighbor.
Are you absolutely positively sure you want to delete your town? I said recreate. I hope. Oh well. Delete.
You shouldn't. It shouldn't say delete.
Oh, delete.
You didn't actually delete your town, did you? Tyler?
If the loading screens would stop, I would show you that I deleted my fucking town.
Oh, I shouldn't say that. Like, she should say,
See?
like Tom Nook needs to come in.
Brightness,
Nope.
please. Hold on.
Too bright.
Too bright. Defensive positions. Brightness too high. Now deleted.
It's not in focus. What are
Yeah,
the two options?
New save file and move in.
Oh, you deleted it. Tom Nook needs to come in and freeze it.
I know. I think that's fucking whatever. I clicked recreate your town. It's just like, do you want to delete your town? Like, sure. So,
that's not
whatever.
the option that's supposed to come up if you want to appraise it.
Oh well. I had no emotional attachment to this fucking town anyways. I'm actually seriously not even affected by me deleting my town. I wanted to start over anyways.
Well,
Today on PlayStation Point, Replay deleted its entire town from existence. Join us next time on Nintendo Unleashed.
well, we'll wrap this up.
Well, I have one more thing about Sony-related news because we all know that Call of Duty now has the contract with Sony for 10 years.
Oh yeah.
Did you know that the player base at launch for Call of Duty Infinite Warfare was half of what Black Ops 3 launch was?
What?
Yeah, the player base, the amount of players online was half of what Black Ops 3 had at launch.
That's odd.
Not really. Having played the Infinite Warfare beta, I can tell you it is the exact same as Black Ops 3, but somehow less enjoyable. So, I can credit it partially to them trying to... I've already explained why on Twitter, but basically you take everything that made Black Ops 3 unique, which is specialists and abilities that you gain. It's basically like ultimates in Overwatch. It's exactly ultimates in Overwatch, basically. But Black Ops did it first. But you basically get these abilities, but the thing is that Infinite Warfare does that too. And it also has the thruster pack and the wall running of Black Ops 3. It has everything Black Ops 3 had that gave it more fluidity and mobility in its multiplayer. And then you take the gunplay from like COD 4 or Modern Warfare 2, which is very stiff, but somehow smooth when you're trying to look around. It just feels weird. And the hit registration is really fucking off. So it's like, it just doesn't feel right to play in comparison to Black Ops 3, which feels really nice. So I can understand. It's also the fact that they tried to be like, hey guys, if you buy our new game, we'll give you the game that basically made us really fucking popular along with it. It's only $80. So you basically pay $40 for each game. People caught on to that bullshit really quickly, and it's just like, all right, release the standalone for Modern Warfare Remastered, and we'll buy that. So, Infinite Warfare is already bombing.
Oh,
I hear
of
the zombies mode
course.
is good though.
Mm,
It's a lot better than fucking Exo Zombies, let me tell you that. As someone who mostly buys Call of Duty for the zombies, Exo Zombies was stupid. That's all I have to say on the matter. It's Call of Duty. I'm a fan of Call of Duty, but I'm not going to go out of my way to get Call of Duty every year.
I should not have peeked at Twitter for political things.
Meanwhile, while Replay was talking about Call of Duty, Kuro was watching the world burn around her.
Yeah.
Join us next time on the PlayStation point where Tyler rambles for another 45 minutes and Kuro watches the boats flow in.
Like drinks Apollo rum. The end of the world. Yeah, today's not really a great day.
Politics. We don't give a shit about politics.
I actually kind of have to.
Yeah, you have to give a shit about politics because you're in college.
Yeah.
I don't. I voted. That's it. That's all I had to do.
You already voted, but like I have to go vote today, and then I need to go fucking yell at financial aid bullshit.
Here's the thing: if Oregon didn't have mail-in ballots, I wouldn't have gone to vote, honestly, because I couldn't be bothered to go to the library to vote.
I think we do have mail-in ballots, like an absentee vote, but like I changed addresses, so I'm hoping I can go vote on campus or at the hotel next to campus and not have to drive to West LA to vote. So
yeah, that's the great thing about living here is that they just give you the ballots in the mail and just like, hey, you need to fucking vote. It's like, okay.
Oregon sounds really nice, but I love California.
It was the worst feeling because I was a year advanced in high school. So like I graduated at 17.
A lot of people graduate at 17.
Yeah, but everyone I knew in my senior class was 18.
Oh.
And you know what? It's really awkward when you're the only kid, when you're the only person in your senior history class to not be able to register to vote. I was in a room for 50 minutes with everyone registering to vote, and I wasn't legally allowed to register to vote because I was 17.
Oh, it was the opposite for me. I was actually one of the few people who could register to vote. Everyone's like, wait, you're 18 in October? And I was like, yes. They're like, wait, you're older than us? And I was like, yeah. And you know what I'm going to vote for? Obama. And like the Republicans who couldn't vote were so angry. It was hilarious.
Like you did that like very specifically, like that abrasive like contrast to it. And all the people in the audience were just like, oh! Oh, snap, she did it!
Someone was like, I was at taiko practice, and they're like,
there's a woman like taking off her ears, like, oh, hell no. Hell no. Oh, hell no, she ain't voting for, oh, wait, this is actually beneficial to me.
but like, that was back in like 2012, and now I'm kind of like, America, y'all fucked up. You had one chance, and y'all just like, nah, Lolo. Just like,
can I put my own name on the ballot? I feel like I can't even be president. I'm not 35.
Neither am I, so I don't think I'd want to run for president. There's just so much bullshit involved. And like some world leaders are like, they're so weird. And I was like, how does anyone tolerate these people?
Armando for president, 2026.
Yeah, it should will get done then.
I'm sure Blaze Kick will still be active in 15 years.
Yeah, totally. We're not already busy doing other things.
We'll totally be a network making millions of dollars on people making content for us.
We'll be the next Rooster Teeth, but based in like the West Coast.
I was going to say Polaris, because Polaris is awful.
I like to think Rooster Teeth because that's.
Did you know that Polaris has relaunched again?
Really?
Yeah, it's now Maker. It's now Polaris by Maker.
But isn't Maker owned by Disney?
Maker's owned by Disney, yes, but Polaris is owned by Maker.
The fuck?
Yeah, so Polaris by Maker is relaunching. It's not just Polaris anymore; it's Polaris by Maker, and they don't have Dodger anymore. They don't have Jesse Cox.
Wait, they don't have Dodger?
Yeah, Dodger left.
I don't know. She's great though.
Yeah, I think she stopped doing Friend Zone, so she went off to do her own thing, which is all the better, really. Because she still does the Co-optional podcast with Jesse and Total Biscuit.
I didn't know that.
But I'm more than glad that they're not they're not doing Polaris shit anymore, because Polaris is awful.
Yeah, but it was.
Remember that time that they decided to try to make Table Flip a Sling exclusive series they had to subscribe to watch?
What?
Yeah, and after like 5 months, they realized their mistake, because nobody's gonna fucking subscribe to Sling to watch Table Flip, because they know that the Game Grumps are gonna upload it to their channel 6 months later.
Entertainment.
Yeah. They really fucked up too, because the Game Grumps left Polaris after that too. So like, I think the Game Grumps is starting to become its own network now, actually, because they made another show, I think. I think, anyways, I don't remember, but like they have Grumpcade and they have Steam Train and they have Game Grumps, but now they're doing Game Grumps where just Aaron's playing games on his own. Like I think he's playing Mega Man X on his own now, like right now.
It's kind of weird. It
is weird, but I think it makes sense because, you know, it allows him to go into a lot more detail about stuff he said in like Sequelitis years ago, which is an interesting introspective, I think.
Well then, how about we plug some stuff? We talk about our portals, and then we're done.
We talk about our doobly-doos, and then doobly-doo the fuck out of here.
Yes, because I have shit to go do.
And I need sleep to recover from.
Okay.
And then I got to stream Final Fantasy 14.
Plug your shit.
Okay. Keep an eye out for the Hitman review. It's coming out this week. It's good. I'd recommend, if you haven't gotten the game yet, to go pick up Hitman the full experience on PS4 or Xbox One, or wait for the physical release January of next year. Because Hitman is one of the most miraculously stupid games ever. It's so amazing in how much freedom they give you in terms of completing your objectives. I've already explained before that at one point in playing Hitman, I made spaghetti for my target, but I used an expired can of spaghetti sauce instead of normal spaghetti sauce. Made him sick, so he went to go throw up, and then pushed him off a cliff. And then there was another time where I shot a cannon at him, but that's another story for another time. It's a wonderful game. It's so wonderful how much freedom they give you. If you're unsure about if you'd like Hitman, you can go buy the intro pack for $15. It gives you the tutorial missions and episode 1. And then if you really like what you play, then you can buy the full experience and get every single episode that's come out so far, plus the bonus pack that is coming out in January when the physical release comes out. But yeah, expect a review on every single episode. In that review, it's going to be a very long review because there's a lot to talk about. Yeah. Also, the series that I was working on is currently undergoing a complete rewrite, so it's probably going to take a little bit longer for me to talk about it. Yeah. Let's talk about Twitch and YouTube. You can
actually first Patreon.
Patreon, yep.
So you guys, if you haven't already been watching previous episodes, we have a Patreon, and for $1 a month, you get to have this podcast a day early. Generally, last week we had some issues because Armando is getting less and less involved. So
communication issues.
Yeah. And then, like, for original video content, if you want to pay us $5, you will also get that a day early. But our most popular option is the podcast. I recommend it. You also get the Blaze Cook podcast as well, which is exclusive to patrons on Patreon. Remember, guys, it's just $1 a month that helps us bring more content on a daily basis, among other things. So if you really like our work, please become a patron on Patreon. and comment on our work, whether it's YouTube or you tweet at us, or you send us an email or comment on the Blaze website. We appreciate it, and we also really appreciate the current patrons. Thank you for supporting us, and we hope you can continue to enjoy our content.
Mm-hmm.
And that is at patreon.com/blazekick. And then we also have a YouTube channel where we post all of this stuff. And that would be youtube.com/blazekickmedia. We also have a website, blazekick.com. But we also appreciate if you go look at, because by going to look at the website, you'll be listening to press events like E3, conventions, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And we also have a Twitch page. So me, Armando, or Tyler, when we stream on our own channels, we will also auto-stream on the BlazeKick Live channel.
Also Noah.
Noah as well.
Noah's also registered to stream on that.
Alright, and what is the address for that?
That is twitch.tv/BlazeKick Live. We also use it whenever there is a conference or a business meeting happening. We weren't able to do the BlizzCon conference, sadly, but we'll catch it next year, I think.
If only I could have driven to Anaheim, to be honest. Only like an hour away, but I have things to do.
You could probably cosplay Sombra. I'm just gonna note.
I'm worried about comments from people being like, "You're white, you're not Mexican." And I'll be like, it's still like a character.
Yeah. Nothing makeup can't fix, I think.
I'm pretty fucking pale, but
I don't know, brown paint.
That's blackface. Like, what the fuck's wrong with you?
Shut up. Yeah, no, it's also, it's not blackface, it's brownface. God damn.
No, it's literally called blackface.
I know it's called blackface. I was trying to make a joke, but
that's not funny. Like, no, it's not funny.
I think it's fucking hilarious.
No.
Be sure to check out our Twitter at PlayStation. It's yeah. It's yeah. I don't really have much to say about the matter, to be completely honest.
Tyler, just stop talking.
Yeah.
So we also have our own Twitter, and that is BlazeCakeTweet. My personal Twitter handle is @demon_sorceress. And what is yours, Tyler?
@ReplayTieHeretic. Be sure to send all your responses to that comment, to that specifically, so I can know just how much of a fucking offensive asshole I am, because I don't give a shit. Very clearly.
You'll if you watch last week's episode, you'll see more of it, because NyQuil.
Yeah. Yep. And let me just say, if I had the chance to cosplay as somebody off color, I would. I think it would be cool.
The other thing is I need to learn more sewing.
I could cosplay as Lucio, totally.
And if I really had the chance, I think I'd actually cosplay Reaper. Female Reaper.
Oh, so Sombra. Okay.
Actually, both of those characters are of Latino.
To be completely honest, you could cosplay Sombra in her Los Muertos outfit. You just need like neon face paint.
I don't like that. I actually don't really like sheer skulls. I have a very specific aesthetic.
Yeah. I have taste.
Supposedly.
Yeah, supposedly. Based on the brown paint comment, I think I have very little taste as it is. But I have taste.
And that is it for the PlayStation Point this week. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you next week. And hopefully I won't be as tired. Things are heating up at classes, so if I'm not as energetic, that's why. So yeah, bye guys!
Today in PlayStation Point, Tyler gets removed from the roster of people who are on the podcast replaced by Connor, who doesn't even have PlayStation Plus anymore.